Hey everybody, I'm back with another exercise for beginners. What this is going to be doing is helping you to get comfortable with where your hands are on the piano. I had a question recently on how do I get to where I can play something like this that seems like it should be insanely easy, and why can't I do it? It takes time. Number one, it is going to take time. And that's something none of us ever want to spend on things. I admit to things that I want to learn that I don't spend enough time on, and that I say, oh, I've got something better to do than that, or that's not as fun, or whatever. We want to make sure we're spending enough time on the exercises and enough time on sight reading. Sight reading and using sight reading apps and sight reading websites. One of my favorite sight reading websites is sightreadingfactory.com. They do not pay me to say that, just so you know. I actually do use that with a lot of my students, and I even have a membership myself for it. I use their highest level of the sight reading, and it's great for me. It kind of makes me actually look and read music without always staring at my hands, because it's up on my computer screen. And it's a really great way of getting me to be better at what I do. So there are some exercises, though, that you can do. One is just first taking with one hand and playing every interval and feeling what all the intervals feel like in your hand. This isn't moving your hand to different parts of the piano, but this is the first step. So exercise number one. With one hand at a time, start with C, play C, D, C, E. We're going to keep going, and we're going to go all the way to the fifth finger. Now we're not going to stop. We're going to keep moving the fifth finger. And go all the way to the octave. Just start with the octave until you get really good at this. If you can't do this easily, then do not move beyond the octave. Do the same thing with your left hand. Let's do that together. C, B. Now keep going down. Now remember, when you get to the fifth finger, do not stop. Don't stop until you've played an octave. It's okay to look at your hand and look at the notes. But here's the real tip. Don't actually look at your hand, not consciously. Watching your hand is like watching the bat or a club in a game. Like if you're playing golf, watching the clubs, you're going to probably hit the grass or hit the ground rather than hit the ball. If you are playing baseball or cricket or whatever, and you watch your bat as the ball is coming towards you, the ball is just going to fly right by you, right? You got to watch the ball. These are the balls. These are the clubs, the bats. Don't look at the bats. Look at the notes. Look at the notes you need to go to. And you'll get much faster at it. You also do want to get to where you can do it without looking at your hands, though. Next, as I said, once you get to the octave, go beyond that. Let's pretend I've done all of them already. There's nothing wrong with looking at your hands. Just take it that one extra step. Left hand. I'm going to go kind of slow again. Make sure you take this at a tempo that you can actually do. Don't ever go too fast. Speaking of tempo, with all of these, use a metronome. Try to keep yourself even and make sure that you're keeping yourself accountable by not allowing yourself to say, well, I slowed down just this once on that one note. No way. Make sure you're keeping a consistent tempo throughout the whole thing. This is how you're going to get better. As you get really good at one tempo, speed it up. You can speed up by any amount. I generally say if you're using a digital metronome that can go up or down by ones, then go up by 5 each time. If you're using a standard old school metronome, 1 tick faster. All right, that's your first exercise. Now just feel the octaves. You've gone through all of the different intervals from C up to 2 octaves. So now what we're going to do is go from the C, 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 and then back down. And the middle note can be played with thumb or pinky. It's not a big deal. It's just getting your hand to move and just knowing which finger you're going to use. Whatever that might be. Now the trick, or difficult part I should say, tricky part, is hands together. Just take it slow, look at each of the notes as you go out. And take your time and be patient with yourself. If you find that you're trying this and you say, okay, I've got this, I'm going to do this without looking. Like, I messed up, I'm useless. No, you're not. Take your time. Just really like, even take your time, like feeling for the notes. Just going, okay, where are my fingers? Is this it? Oh, I think I've got it. And am I in the right place now? I think I am. Yes. Take your time. Your hands, your hands and your muscle memory will start to connect and will start to allow you to just what feels magical but magically know what distance things are. Just kind of instinctively know where to put your hands for things. Same thing goes for anything you might do on the piano or any instrument for that matter. This includes singers. It becomes instinctual, becomes like kind of just a native thing that you do. So just keep working on that. One other exercise I want to give you. Last one, I promise this is the third exercise. Remember, first one is do all these intervals. The second one is to do octaves. And besides all that, the half point beforehand is do lots of sight reading. The next one is know where your hands are on chords. Play through just a number of chords by step here. Pretend like you're playing a C major scale, but using all the chords within C major. Do the same thing for the left hand, moving up or down. It doesn't really matter how you want to do this. And take the time to consciously not watch your hand if you can at this point. You're just moving up one step. Moving up one step. Just feel where those notes are. You want to eventually get where you don't have to keep your fingers glued to the whites of the keys to find those chords. All right. That was as simple as I could make it. That's an absolute beginner to kind of mid-beginner level exercise or set of exercises. If you want something more complicated, please let me know. I will try to make up some different exercises for you. And I'm promised to dust my piano. Keep your pianos and keyboards clean. This is disgusting. Too many animals and people with lots of hair. That's what happens to this piano. Thank you all so much. If you do have any questions, please let me know. I'm always happy to answer questions. Just leave them in the comments below, and I will get to them as soon as I possibly can. My app does tell me when I have any comments. I look at that every day, at least once a day there.